Tonight on TCM's 31 Days of Oscar, Peter Jackson adapts J.R.R. Tolkien's fantasy epic, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Then the saga continues with The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. And Jackson directs the final installment, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
Yes, there are thousands in our family. Their work is an integral part of what will be the best picture of the year and of every picture of every year. The award that is about to be given then is a tribute to each and every one of them. The best motion picture is...
Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. We're in the final phase of our 31 Days of Oscar festivities for this year, and we've officially entered the new millennia in our look back at Academy history. Well, right now we're going to do something unprecedented here on TCM. We're going to be showing all three films in Peter Jackson's groundbreaking screen adaptation of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings trilogy. In order, back to back, and as always on TCM, no cuts and no commercials. We're going to start with The Fellowship of the Ring, the movie that proved to audiences and critics alike that Tolkien's epic three-part novel could be successfully transferred to the screen. Now, you'd think that for such a massive undertaking, with each film budgeted at close to $100 million, an established filmmaker would be assigned to direct. But The Lord of the Rings was not a typical studio venture, and the one who got the job of directing was a fledgling filmmaker with only a handful of films to his credit. Interestingly, when Jackson first read the novels on a long New Zealand train ride he made in 1978, he imagined that those books would one day make a very fine film. Whoever might end up directing it. But in 1995, when Jackson was working on the special effects for a movie he was directing, he realized that the technology had advanced enough that somebody could indeed make a movie based on Tolkien's trilogy. And he started to get very excited. Why couldn't he be the one to do it? Well, it took him years just to disentangle the rights issues, but eventually he forged a deal with New Line Cinema to make the movies and get clearance to shoot all three films simultaneously on location in his native New Zealand. He was also making film history. The movie came out in 2001 and was a huge hit at the box office, earning 13 Academy Award nominations and winning 4 Oscars for cinematography, for music score, visual effects, and makeup. The other 2 films were released at Christmas time in 2002 and 2003. So here's the first story about a wizard, a dwarf, an elf, 2 men, and a band of hobbits as they try to destroy a magic ring. Here with Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, Ian McKellen, and Viggo Mortensen, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Before this film was made, a very different adaptation of Tolkien's novel, Lord of the Rings, was in the works after the movie rights had been sold to United Artists. In 1969, a version featuring the Beatles was talked about. Those talks serious enough that at one point, the Beatles got in touch with Stanley Kubrick about possibly directing it. But the man who had just turned his cameras on the great mysteries of time and space with 2001: A Space Odyssey felt the novel was unfilmable due to its length. You can only imagine what the Fellowship might have looked like with the Fab Four in tow. Coming up next, the story continues with the second installment by Peter Jackson of the trilogy.